Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome to today's episode on Life with Herpes Live. I'm Alexandra Harbushka. I'm the founder of Life with Herpes. It is a YouTube channel, it is a podcast, but most importantly, it's an online community for people just like you, just like me, who have, hi, Jen, who have genital herpes or oral herpes. It doesn't really matter, herpes in general. So welcome. I'm really excited for you to be here. Before we get going, I'm just going to type in the website in case you have not checked it out. I really want to invite you to do that. So I totally spelled herpes wrong. Awesome. All right, I'll do that. Hi, everybody. Hi, hi, hi. Thanks for saying hello. And let me just get the link so I can put it in our Slack group so that people know that we are live right now and we can have them show up, invite them. I got lots of good questions for today. You guys have any good questions? Because I always love the live, like on the spot questions. Your questions. All right, got the Slack out and we're ready to go. Okay. First question is, how do you use a female condom? Good question. Okay. So basically, since I don't have a female condom on me, I'm trying to think, do I have a banana? I don't. Okay. So as you know, a typical condom just goes over the shaft of the penis, right? So it just goes over the shaft. Goes over the shaft, then the penis is inserted into the vagina or the anus or the mouth. So oral, vaginal, and there's Ruby Rose right there. Oral, vaginal, or anal sex. So any of the three ways to do that. So that's how that happens. A female condom is a little bit different. It is inserted into the woman's vagina. So when you do this, when you use a female condom, there is no male condom used. So it's one or the other. You don't use both. The reason why you don't use both is because you'd have latex on latex. And we've all put on rubber gloves before, either in the doctor's office or like a science experiment or whatever. We've all done that. And you do this and it doesn't work, right? So there'd be too much friction, which then would create hole or rip or tear. And that's not something that we want. Obviously, we're using a condom for a reason. So remember, it goes inside the female. Hi, my hand. You got to come say hi. Bill just surprised me to come home and he got all handsome.
I'm all handsome now.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. It was his birthday.
Good. I know. You know what we did? We went out salsa dancing.
We did.
I was a little tipsy.
We had fun.
But I was amazing.
I was hungover yesterday.
You didn't think I was so good, though.
I had no idea how.
You had no idea how good I was.
I mean, I didn't know you were part Hispanic.
I was really good that night.
You were Cuban.
I was. It was fun. We had a great time. Anyways, I gotta go.
Love you.
Bye.
I'll see you tonight.
Okay.
I had a good time at Costco.
Oh.
All right, guys, that was totally impromptu. Bill just came home to get changed. He forgot he had a big lunch today. Anyways, okay, so when you put the female condom inside the vagina, and the beauty in it and what's really great about it is the female condom, if this is the vagina, the female condom hangs out around the exterior. So for a woman, there is more protection for a woman to use a female condom because there's a little flap that hangs out over the side. So they're just not as popular. I don't know why they're not as popular. It's obviously marketing. It's obviously, the companies they've marketed, just male condoms. But yeah, they're a lot more. They protect more. All right, we have a question. So you said you used to have HSV2, did and follow up on plant-based nutrition. Had an outbreak because the virus was exposed after using the oregano oil, cilantro, and raw food. 6 months later, it's negative. Thanks. So I'm not sure if you, I I've seen a lot of people post like, hey, my herpes was cured, it's gone. I just want to make sure that we all understand that herpes at this point, there is no cure. It is a virus. Viruses live in our bodies forever. So this person that just said, hey, his herpes was cured, I just want to make sure we all know that it's what he's saying is it's been dormant. So it's lied dormant in the system through some help and diet, and that's awesome. So I'm really glad that that is working for you. HPV and herpes mixed. What do you mean by that? HPV and herpes mixed. So HPV is the human papilloma virus, and herpes is the herpes simplex virus. They're two different viruses, two different things. Really, if you ask me, the HPV is far worse. It can cause cancer, can cause throat cancer, can cause cervical cancer, penile cancer, and all sorts of bad things. Herpes doesn't. Why does herpes have a stigma and HPV doesn't? In my opinion, it's all marketing, and it's all the way it was exposed to us. You have both. Yeah, so I do as well. I have HPV as well, or I did. It's gone away. It's lied dormant. I still have it. Again, it's a virus, but it's something that's not an issue at this point in my life. So with you, I'd recommend going. I'm sure you had both too. Yeah, so I'm sure that your doctor had you come in every 4 or 6 months or whatever the routine was to check and make sure those abnormal cells did not turn even more abnormal. They show you that little chart of like normal cells, abnormal, and like cancer cells. It's like the scariest chart ever. I'm sure they watched it. From my understanding, it has nothing to do with having herpes. It has nothing to do with it. So I wouldn't even put them in the same category. I don't know if that was your question. And you're welcome. Yeah, I love sharing. Okay. Great questions. Thanks, guys. Okay. If I'm on the antiviral, can I have a normal sex life? You can always have a normal sex life. Really, what is the definition of normal sex, right? Everyone has such a different lifestyle, different ideas. There's vanilla sex, there's sex hanging from chandeliers, there's all sorts of different types of sex and different types of relationships, and having herpes will have nothing to do with it unless you create a reason for it. With that being said, if I'm on the antiviral, can I have a normal sex life? Yeah, totally. The antiviral will prevent outbreaks. It definitely is the best way of suppressing the virus. So it will help with that if you're someone that has a lot of outbreaks. It's also great in preventing transmitting it to your partner or partners. So if you're not in a monogamous relationship or your partner does not have herpes, I would highly recommend being on that so that you lessen the transmission rate. But absolutely, you can have a 100% normal sex life with having herpes, period. Like it's totally up to you what you make normal, not what society makes normal and not what society says you can do and all that stuff. So keep that in mind. I see I have for HPV1, does skin to skin contact work? So I don't know what you mean by that. HPV, I'm not an expert in HPV. I am an expert in HSV. So HSV is herpes, HPV is human papillomavirus, which is like a wart. We get warts on our hands, warts on our knees. We also have genital warts, which is the HPV. So I'm not quite sure if there is a strain HPV1. So I'm assuming you're meaning HSV1. So for HSV, it is skin-to-skin transmission. So any type of herpes, whether it's oral, genital, HSV1, HSV2, the transmission rate is the way of transmitting is skin-to-skin contact. How do I generally control an outbreak? I know we're all different. So great question. And that was one of the ones that I was going to bring up. There's someone else asked, so we'll just transfer into that. One of the things about that is, again, we all are different. I can kind of tell when I'm going to get one. So I do my best. So I'll just speak for myself personally. The things that trigger outbreaks are lack of sleep. If I travel or just don't get good sleep, or if I go out a couple, like if I go on like a girls trip and, you know, like bachelorette party, you know, like that type of thing, where you're just not sleeping and you're a little off and you're drinking more and you're eating different foods. So when I just throw my system off, that's a reason for an outbreak. Again, lack of sleep, and as well as just a rundown system. If I feel like I'm coming down with a cold, or if I feel like I'm getting like my period, things like that, then I can sometimes know that my body is working harder. So for me personally, if I know, hey, Warrior Vet, you just missed Bill, actually. He was just here. So I will tell him, yes, I had hi. So what I do personally, if I know I'm going to be doing something that's going to lessen my immune system, I'll go on ahead and take an antiviral. Again, if I'm traveling or if I'm going on a bachelorette party or something like that, what I recommend doing is the minute your body feels run down, do what you can to take care of it. So cancel your plans, take a nap, lay low that day. You know, maybe don't go out to the happy hour, but do what you can to improve your immune system, eat right, and then take a nap. Other things I really recommend doing are increasing your lysine. Lysine is huge. Lysine, I talk about that in lots of other episodes. So you can increase your lysine, which is basically like a fire extinguisher to the herpes virus. So increase your lysine intake and to 3,000 milligrams a day. And what else? That's pretty much what I recommend. That's what I personally do. So, yeah, that's what I recommend. I hope that works for you, and I hope that helps. I have a ton of other episodes on that. Also, if you are curious what other people do, I recommend going to the Life with Herpes community, the online community. There's like, at this point, 500 people over there that are chatting, talking about it, asking questions, sharing. A lot of people have their own remedies. So like certain soaps that they like to use, coconut oils, oregano oils, everyone has their own symptoms. So I really recommend you guys, if you want to ask those questions, go to the community. Okay. Okay, so you just said, I got off the phone. I got the phone call from my doctor yesterday. The first thing I did was call my mom. Next, I told her I had to call my partner that I believe I got it from, and she's refusing to get tested. What should I do? All right. So thanks for sharing. That's, first of all, hard. Second of all, yeah. So in life, this is a great life lesson. People are going to do what they want to do as long as they want to do it until they don't want to do it anymore. Okay? People are going to do what they want to do until they don't want to do it anymore. So your partner who doesn't want to get tested, she doesn't want to get tested. She's going to do what she wants to do or continue to keep doing until she doesn't want to do it anymore. We cannot control what other people are going to do. As much as we can ask, as much as we can ask nicely, politely, whatever we want to say, people are going to do what they want to do. My best recommendation for you, and this is going to probably be a tough one, is, you did everything you could do. You told your partner. You said, hey, I just got this. We're the most recent couple here. Most likely it's pointing to you. I want you to know so that you can take this information and do what you want for your body and your sexual health, and you can move forward. So it's the best and fairest way to go about it. I would drop it. I would move on. You can't force that person to get tested. A great way, if this person comes back into your life, and if it's one of those like here 1 week, there the next week, which totally been there, just say, look, I don't feel comfortable sleeping with you or having sex with you or having an intimate relationship, however you want to say it, with you until you get tested. It's just not right. I don't feel comfortable. I just want to know what's going on in our sexual health. I know now I have herpes, but I don't want to get anything else. And there's other things out there that are far worse. I don't want that. So let's both get tested and make sure. Is basically how I'd handle it. So I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but that's just the best way to handle it. Say your piece and move on. So anyways, okay. If someone has oral herpes, can they give it to you herpes too? Just got told. Okay. Let me do a quick breakdown on oral herpes and genital herpes. There's two types. There's HSV1 and HSV2. So herpes simplex virus 1, herpes simplex virus 2. Herpes simplex virus 1 is most commonly associated with the oral region, and herpes simplex virus 2 is most commonly associated with the genital region. Just because they're most commonly associated in those regions doesn't mean that's where they go. So they can travel, they can go back and forth because we do things like oral sex, because we do things, we have sex, we kiss, we share beers, we share really bad smoothies that I made today because I was out of sugar, really bad, or whatever we share, right? Like we share it with someone and then they can potentially get it. So if someone has oral herpes, can they give you herpes too? So the way I'm going to answer that is if they have oral herpes simplex virus 1, they can transmit simplex virus 1 to you either orally, or they can transmit herpes simplex virus 1 genitally. So it's not this like this is oral and this is genital. It's kind of like a modern painting. Just put it all together. Or remember, I don't know if you guys, I don't know how old you are, but in the 90s, when you do like the puffy paints and then you'd like spin it around on your shirt and it would like go everywhere. Think of that as herpes. It can go anywhere on your body depending on where you give it the opportunity to go. Does that answer your question? If you have it here, it's not just going to automatically pop out down there. If you have it down there, it's not going to pop up here. It's going to go where it was infected. Also, that's another big question I get asked a lot. I have HSV2. Having sex with someone who has it too is going to infect something. So if both you and your partner have herpes, same strain in the same location, then you both have it. It is, I mean, your bodies already have it. It's going to, you can't reinfect yourself with the same virus. So you can create a different location. So for example, if your body has, if you have it genitally and your partner has it genitally, and let's say you perform oral sex on your partner, obviously on their genitals, you could then potentially get it on your mouth. So you can reinfect yourself in different locations, but you can't reinfect yourself with the same virus. Does that make sense? It's very rare that you would get herpes or like the same strain in two locations. It's very, very rare, and your body should already know that you have it. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, good. All right, I think that's good. All right. Okay, I've been hearing this one a lot, and I've been hearing a lot about, well, I'm gonna say the question, then I'm gonna say I've heard a lot from other people about it. So, will my employer ask if I have herpes? So I've heard, will my employer ask? I'm just now going to college. Will I be able to go to college? Are people gonna care? My career, I wanted to be a fireman, a nurse, a doctor, a teacher. I wanted to be a dentist. I wanted to work in the health. Like I've heard people say I am a doctor, but I'm still nervous that I'm going to get asked this. So people we become very concerned when we're diagnosed. Like, oh man, I'm now this like person that needs to be put in the sanitary room or something. Like I can't now go do things because I'm infected. Or it's like, was it like the swine flu? Like you're now quarantined because you have the swine flu, or you're quarantined because you have Ebola or whatever, or anthrax or something, like awful things that, no, you don't have that. You don't have that. Well, I don't know, but we have herpes, and herpes is not anthrax. Herpes is not Ebola. Herpes is not these awful, awful things that kill you. So will your employer ask if you have herpes? Generally, no. I don't know what your employment is. But I can't imagine that, going into the military. No, there's millions of people that have herpes. I guarantee you millions of people in the military have herpes as well. All these things. Can you go to a certain college? Yes. Can you pick a certain major? Yes. Can you go do these things that you want to do because you have herpes? Yes. It has nothing to do with it. I can't, with my health insurance, that there was a period where I had to get my own health insurance, and I wasn't on my employer's or my husband's, and I had my own independent one. And so I believe I had to answer that I had herpes, or I had to say what type of medications I take, and it was obviously the one for herpes. So, but I didn't get dinged or docked or I refused my insurance, nothing. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You are not the only one with it. I saw someone here. I'm not wrong about the military either. You're one. So yeah. So if you have it in the military, thank you for letting me know that. It's not a big deal. If that was the case, they would, like, half the people, we'd all be like, they can't. No one. It just no. There's too many people with herpes, and we're not this like science project. So de-stress on that one. Okay, this one I already asked. What can I do to prevent my outbreaks? Which someone already asked as well. And this is a really good one that I haven't heard of, so I wanted to address it. I contracted HSV1 genitally over 30 years ago. A very few outbreaks after the first horrific one. This last 6 months, I've had a couple of episodes of urinary symptoms with my general practitioner attributes to the HSV. I feel like I need to wee, but when I go, it takes ages to start and then streams dribbles out. Anyone have these symptoms? So for you, I think your general practitioner is totally off. Which I don't mean to say that because that person is a doctor, they've gone to more school than I have, and they are in the medical field. But so I feel like sorry, I was just reading a question. I got distracted. Sounds like, and I want to make sure we all know, I have heard of a lot of women and men say it hurts to urinate when they have an outbreak because the lesion is at the head or at the opening of the urethra. So as we know, when we get the lesions, we get the sores, we get the open blisters. Yeah, you put urine on it, it hurts, it stings. So I've heard of a lot of women, especially women, having a hard time urinating. So they'll sit in a hot cup of, not hot cup, but like a warm bath or a bowl, or they'll pee in the shower with the hot water running over them so that it dilutes it. So I've heard of that. But this sounds like you have a UTI. Sounds like you have a urinary tract infection. UTIs and herpes are two totally different things. Two totally different things. Ladies, I'm sure we've all had one. Men, I hope you never get one, and chances are you won't. Ladies, we've all, I'm sure, had one, and they are miserable. And I think I'd rather have a herpes outbreak than a bladder infection. Personally, they're awful. But it sounds like this situation, it is a UTI, which has anything to do with having herpes. The only thing I could say it has to do with it, the only thing would be your immune system's down and you're fighting on all levels. And so the body just has to pick and choose where it's going to fight the infection. That's the only way I could say it has anything to do. Okay. Okay, so I have a question. I don't know how old age for sex. I'm upset for days. I do not want to say that I was burning. I asked my question, is the usual secret or masturbation by hand How can I, how can pack to past full of energy? I don't quite understand your question. Are you asking if masturbation's okay, or will it transmit? Absolutely, totally huge fan. You should totally masturbate. There's no reason to make yourself feel like you are ashamed. There's like it's one of the things that we're made to feel is we can't have sex, we're not normal, or our genitals are dirty, don't touch them, or the whole thing. So no, don't feel that way at all. Masturbate is awesome. Go ahead. Just wash your hands afterwards. In general, wash your hands. If you have an active outbreak, probably wouldn't touch the area. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend going around it. But yeah, I mean, go ahead. Like, totally go ahead, do that. That was your question. I'm not really sure. I couldn't quite understand your question. So, all right. Is that it? Are those all the questions I got today? Really loved being here with you. I do have an announcement. We now, so as you know, the Life with Herpes live is every Friday at the same time. And it's obviously free, and you can ask your questions. I only have time to get through a few questions. I don't have time to get through everybody's question. What we are doing now is the Life with Herpes online community, the Slack group, the secret society, the ability to chit-chat with other people. That community is now subscription-based. So if you are already a member, and if you have already been a member, you are grandfathered in through the end of the year. So starting January 1, everybody will be charged. But if you already are, so if you're not a member, I would like to, I'd like to invite you to join. It's great. We are doing, and one of the benefits of that is I will be doing live coaching with groups. So it will be live. You can really ask your own personal questions, and we can really talk about it as a group, get other influences, other people talking about their own story, things like that. So I highly recommend it. I want to invite you to do that. Go to lifewithherpes.com, join. Like I said, it is subscription-based. It is $2.99 a month. So super affordable, super low fee so that everybody can jump in and use it. So I really want to invite you to do that. I see I have one more question. Yeah, sorry about your doctor looking at you like disgusting that you have herpes. I mean, yeah, that's wrong, and sad, and medical professionals are humans just like us, and chances are, we just don't know what their walks of life are, and what happens is as humans we judge. So we can judge people. We do all the time, right? I'll judge someone walking. I was just in Costco this morning, and I was like, oh gosh, like that's a weird looking and I don't mean to, right? Like, oh, I wouldn't have bought that. Like that's a weird thing to buy. And I realized I was judging, and I was like, Alexandra, everyone can buy what they want to buy. Same thing with your medical professional judging you or looking at you disgusted because of having herpes. It's wrong. It's not appropriate, but let's try to look at this person as, look, they just don't know. They're not educated. Maybe, who knows their story. So I'm sorry that they looked at you that way. And I'm not making excuses for them, but let's just clear the slate and learn that, yeah, people who are not familiar with herpes are going to be like, ew, gross, or you're a slut, or you're a whore, or you slept around. But you didn't, and you know who you are, and I'm really glad you're here. Is it recommended to use a condom every time now so wife will be safe? It's, by the way, 7:02, are you in Las Vegas? Because I am. As I'm answering your question. Is it recommended to use a condom every time? That's between you and your wife. Yes, it's going to be recommended to use a condom every time. Oh, yay, we're in Vegas together. It's beautiful today. I'm outside. Anyways, Use a condom. It's up to you and your wife. Yes, using a condom will prevent transmission. Taking the antiviral will prevent transmission. It's up to your wife. Really, it's up to her to decide if she's comfortable with getting herpes. Yeah, even without an outbreak, you can still transmit herpes even without an outbreak due to asymptomatic shedding. So it's really up to you and your wife. And I would just leave it up to her and what she feels comfortable with. And see how she feels. But yeah, it can always be transmitted. It just depends on how long you've had the virus. The longer you have it, the less likely you're going to transmit it through through asymptomatic shedding. And then back to my moonlight. Thanks, my friend, Mr. Cool Guy. I'm glad you want to support. Yeah, join the community. It's the way of supporting. I listen to you. Yeah, I definitely am invested in you guys, so I'm here, and yeah, that's a way to help support. Okay. You mean that I was not the same before? I no longer want sex. Okay, so to look at your sex drive and things like that, that might be a different question. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. So I think men go to urologists, and I don't know where women go for sex. It's probably just your general practitioner. I'm not really that, but it sounds like the sex drive. So your sex drive will have nothing to do with having herpes. The only thing that the herpes can do, it can be a mental effect, not an actual physical. The herpes won't change your sex drive or anything. Like, I still want sex all the time. Maybe not all the time. Bill would say probably not all the time. But anyways, it has nothing to do with my sex drive or my lust or anything like that. So perhaps there's something else going on. It also could be a mental thing of making yourself feel like you're not deserving of it or things like that. So I hope that answers your question about sex. All right, my friends, I'll see you all soon. Again, go to lifewithherpes.com. I'm typing it in. Oops. To join our community. There is a free community as well. And thank you. There is a free community, but if you want to join the chatty, the support, like we're chatting, and then we have the live not one-on-one. Yes, have a great day. The live support groups with people in the community. Like I said, $2.99 per month. All right, my friends, I'll see you all soon. Enjoy your September. It's so beautiful out. Okay, bye, guys. I never know how to turn this off. Okay.